What's up, my beautiful entrepreneurs? One thing that I really struggled with, and I see quite a few comments about, is how do you get your scents to last longer with your body butter or with body oil? And so I decided to do a little bit of an experiment to see at what time does your scent last longer, what time does it get stronger, and how can you make your overall scent better when it comes to body oil. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the video. So when I was first trying to figure out my body oils and like putting things together, I had a scent that I really wanted to create, and it was really good when I had to put the fragrances together separately. I really loved the way that the scent was, and I thought this would be perfect for the body oil. So I made my body oil and I added the fragrance to it. And when I was smelling it, it just wasn't the scent that I originally had. Like, I just didn't like the way that it came out. It wasn't what I originally thought it was going to be. So I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna scrap this. It's just a test. So I covered it back up and I just put it in my cabinet and left it there. And like a few months later, about like a month or so later, I pulled it back out because I was cleaning up and I saw it, and I decided to try some on and smell it, and it was exactly what I had originally thought my scent was gonna come out to. Like, it was exactly what I had originally envisionated. So I was like, okay, so at what point should I be making my body oils in order to get the scent that I originally want? How far in advance should I be making my products? How far in advance should we at least be thinking about starting that process so that our scents can be exactly what we desire, and when our customers get it, they get that same potent smell that you were originally looking for? So I'm gonna share how things went, for the course of 4 weeks, and share the lessons that I learned throughout this process to see when the best time is to make our body oils. So basically, I made the oil that I wanted. I figured out the scent that I wanted to create, and I put it all together, and I checked the oil every 7 days to see what happened and what occurred during that time. So in week 1, I realized that the scent was not as strong as it was originally when I had made it separately. So it was a really light scent. There wasn't really much depth to it at the time. And also, when looking at the actual oil itself, you can tell that it had a very cloudy, dirty look to it. And when you see that cloudiness in the oil, basically what's happening is that the carrier oils that you have and the fragrance oil isn't infusing together fully. So you're mixing everything, but everything's not fully incorporated and infused into each other. So that's why you're seeing that cloudy, almost dirty, oily looking product that you're getting, because it's not allowing itself to fully incorporate during that time. Okay, so a quick tip before we get into week 2, but when it comes to the development of your scents, you want to think about them in your base, middle, and top notes. Now, when it comes to percentages, your base notes should be at 40%, the middle notes will be at 20%, and your top notes will also be at 40%. Now, this is just a rule of thumb that I use when it comes to the development of my scents, but I think that this is a really great way for you to think about how to develop your scents in a more practical way when it comes to the actual percentages that you're using for each one. Okay, so now for week 2. So in week 2, I realized that I still saw that cloudiness within the oils. So like I said before, the oils and your fragrance aren't mixing together completely. So it looks like there's still some work that needs to be done as far as the oils mixing properly. As far as the scent goes, it's still not as strong as it was originally, but I did realize that the base notes seem to be coming out a little bit more. And one thing to realize when it comes to your base notes is that that's going to be the longest duration as far as it comes to the fragrance overall. So your base notes are really important. It's going to be really the base of your scent, and it's going to be the longest smell that you're going to get as you're smelling the fragrance. So it seems like the development is happening with the base notes first. So I'm really noticing that come out right now. Now, another tip that I have is that you can use Rosemary CO2 Extract in replacement of vitamin E oil. Now, vitamin E oil is always important to have in your oil products. It's an antioxidant, but I know that it's really hard to find the vitamin E oil that we use. And so if you're not able to find that, a great alternative would be to use the Rosemary CO2 Extract. And of course, I'll have it linked down below so that you'll be able to snag that if that's something that you are interested in. Okay, y'all, we've made it to week 3, and let me tell you, there are some changes that are happening with this oil. Now, here in week 3, the smell of the oil is coming through a lot more. I can smell the base notes even more now. The top notes are really starting to come out along with the middle notes, so the scent is really starting to develop here, and it's a lot closer to what I had originally came through with when I was making the oils originally. And also, the cloudiness is gone out of this oil. Like, it's a lot clearer, it's a lot cleaner. You can see that everything has really mixed and infused together properly at this point. So this is really good to allow your oils to sit up to this point, because now you can see that everything's a lot clearer, and just from that standpoint alone, having a lot clearer, cleaner looking oil, allowing it to sit will allow that to happen. And also your scent is really starting to develop, and it's a lot more strong than it was originally. So I'm really glad that the scent is really starting to develop properly. Okay, so we've made it to week 4, and honestly I have to say that there wasn't really much of a difference between week 3 and 4. So I would really say that the sweet spot when it comes to developing your scents for your body oil is going to be 21 days, and at that point you're really going to have the development of the scent. Everything's going to come together nicely, and you're going to have a more clearer product as well when it comes to your oil. So I would say 21 days is a really good time to pre-make your oils and everything like that, because when it comes down to doing like a pre-launch or when you're launching in general, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough time for those products to develop before you actually launch your products, so that when they get the product, it's exactly the way that you intended it to be. One thing you don't want to do is wait, right, and say,
oh, it's okay, I'll just do it, a couple weeks before I launch, and by the time they get it, it should be fine.
But once you do that, and if they buy it, and once they get it, they're gonna smell it, they're gonna try it on, they're not gonna like it, it's gonna be tossed. Think about any time you've bought something and you did not like it, you just put it in the back of your drawer, you put it in the back of your cabinet, and you forgot about it. And then if you saw it again, you just threw it away. But the whole time, that if they were to try and use the oil again, it will be perfect. But you want to make sure that when they get it and try it for the first time, it's perfect in the way that you want. So pre-launch, think about your pre-launch, and think about when you want everything to drop, and plan accordingly so that your oils and everything comes out the way that you intend. It's not only important to have your scents developed in order to really have the right scent profile for your overall product, but it's also great to understand how to create an overall scent profile so that everything comes together as far as your top, base, and middle notes. If you're having trouble with that, watch this video here where I describe how you can create the perfect scent profile for your products.